10. Lexus and the Shark. Lexus Chansey was captured on video trying to reel in her fishing line as a great white shark on the other end stole her catch. The shocking video emerged in June of 2018. Lexus was sitting on a floating platform off the coast of Stuart, Florida. She and some friends were just trying to catch some big, juicy fish. When the 20-year-old realized she'd caught something on the end of her line, she quickly tried to reel it in. But then the line jerked, and suddenly the fish was deeper in the water. From out of nowhere, a giant shark appeared inches beneath the surface. What happened next was a battle between Lexus and one of the most dangerous sharks in the world. According to fishing expert Ben Chansey, Lexus's father, she was in a fight for the fish with a massive bull shark. Bull sharks can be found in warm coastal waters, especially off the coast of Florida. There were at least 3 of them underneath Lexus's floating fishing platform. The one that went for Lexus's catch was at least 7.5 feet, 2.2 meters long. If it had managed to pull Lexus into the water in all the confusion, she may have become a much more tasty treat than whatever fish she'd originally snagged. Luckily, the bull shark took its prize and swam away. Lexus may have missed out on her catch, but at least she didn't wind up in the jaws of a hungry shark. 9. Camel attack. In early 2023, a man in Russia was recently killed by a camel after he mistreated the animal. A watchman at a children's holiday camp in Siberia, a 51-year-old man, punched the camel in the face. It's not clear what the camel was doing to warrant such a barbaric treatment. By all accounts, it was minding its own business. But when the watchman punched the animal, the camel went from peaceful to violent. A local report claimed the camel didn't appreciate being treated in such a manner, and so it bit the man several times with its huge teeth. Then it trampled him to death in full view of the security cameras. The brutal incident was recorded from beginning to end. There wasn't much the watchman could do once the camel decided to fight back. It was a Bactrian 2-humped camel, a beast that can grow to be over 7 feet, 2.1 meters tall, and nearly 2,000 pounds. Once the camel decided it was go time, its abuser didn't stand a chance. The victim was taken to the nearby hospital in Omsk, but doctors couldn't do anything to save his life, and sadly, he passed away. 8. Freaky monster fish. In 2019, a shocked Australian fisherman had a weird encounter with a sea creature that he described as prehistoric looking. Andrew Rose said he pulled the monstrous fish, which had no eyes and teeth like razors, from the Mary River. That's in a rural area of Australia's Northern Territory. He said it looked like something he'd only ever seen before in movies. He had been fishing for regular fish, but when he pulled in his line, he had some bizarre alien-looking freak on the end. Andrew didn't know what the creature was, and neither did his angler friend T. Hoken. So Andrew took pictures of the strange animal and posted them online. And yes, he released the strange-looking fish back into the water safely. Fish expert Morgan Grant was the one who finally broke the case wide open. He commented on the photos, saying the creature was a type of rarely seen fish called an eel gobies, or a worm gobies. These peculiar fish have poorly developed eyes because they live in rough waters, where they can't see anything. They rely more on touch than sight to catch prey. 7. Rock climbers versus raging bear. A rock climber in Japan recently found himself in one of the most terrifying situations imaginable. It was late 2022, and the rock climber found himself facing off against a wild bear. As he tried to descend a rocky cliff face on the side of Mount Futago, the beast attacked. The frightening encounter was fully captured on the climber's GoPro, which he had attached to himself. The video gives a first-person perspective of what it's like to be cornered by one of the most dangerous predators in the world. It started with an attack from the rear. As the climber descended a rocky ridge, the bear came at him out of nowhere. He narrowly escaped death by sidestepping, evading the bear's lunge, and then scrambling to some high ground. He managed to keep enough distance between himself and the bear so that he had the tactical advantage. Then, since he held the high ground, he risked it by laying down some hammer fists on the bear's head. This is one of the only people in the world who has ever punched a bear and lived to tell the tale. According to what the climber said in the video description, he had no fear. He had only an instinctual understanding that he needed to fight his way out, and that was what he did. He fought off the bear so that it scurried away, leaving them both to live another day. While it may seem like a reckless decision on the climber's part to physically fight a bear, it was in reality the smart thing to do. The U.S. National Park Service advises anyone attacked by a bear to fight back with everything they have. If a black bear charges and attacks, try to punch the bear in the face to scare it away. This is the official advice from the Park Service. Fight or die. 6. Swallowing a catfish. Sometime in 2019, a group of drunk men living in the Netherlands got home from a night out and thought they might sober themselves up with a bit of fish. They had been drinking heavily and using illegal party drugs. Feeling invincible and outrageous, they decided to swallow their pet goldfish in a bid to sober up and to do something hilarious at the same time. The goldfish went down the throat all right, but one of the friends picked something that wasn't a goldfish. It was a spiky bronze catfish, and it fought back. The fish was put into a glass of water, and then the guy tried to swallow it like he was taking a shot. The fish got lodged in his throat and stabbed him with its venomous barb. His friends couldn't get the fish unstuck, and the man had to go to the hospital because he started barfing up buckets of blood. They had to perform 2 surgeries to get the fish dislodged from the patient's throat. It was a huge ordeal and nearly cost the guy his life. If the fish had gotten stuck in a different position, there was a strong possibility he could have choked to death. It was such a bizarre case that when the doctors removed the dead fish, they gave it to scientists at the Natural History Museum, Rotterdam. The preserved fish is now part of an exhibit called Dead Animal Tales. The exhibit is all about unfortunate encounters when animals and humans collide. 5. Elephant trample. A woman in India found herself on the wrong side of an angry elephant. In summer of 2013, the woman was trampled to death by a fierce pachyderm. Then it showed up to her funeral to taunt her. It wasn't enough that the elephant killed the woman. It came back to laugh at her funeral in front of her family and friends. According to the local reports in India, the victim was Maya Murmu, 70 years old. She was collecting water near her home when she came into contact with the elephant. The elephant had just escaped from the Dalma Wildlife Sanctuary and was in no mood to go back. It likely had the same dangerous mentality as a recently escaped prisoner from maximum security. The elderly woman tried to get out of the elephant's way, but it ran her down with all its strength. It trampled her so mercilessly that she was near dead by the time the elephant left. Later that evening, after Maya had been taken to the hospital and officially pronounced dead, her family performed the funeral. They were performing her last rites when the elephant came out of nowhere, grabbed the woman's corpse out of the funeral pyre, and trampled it all over again. It was clearly trying to make a point, almost being cruel for the sake of it. After the elephant trampled the body for a while, the elephant threw the corpse away and then ran into the forest. 4. Gone to the dogs. Sarah J. was a woman in her 50s with 4 dogs that she positively adored. She had a cat too, but her dogs were her life. That's what makes it so tragic that Sarah was recently found in her home partially eaten by her beloved animals. The very creatures she had cared for, fed, and given unconditional love ate her like an open bag of dog food. But what in the world happened here? Police were called to the woman's apartment in April of 2022 in Lancs, the UK. The neighbors hadn't seen Sarah for a couple days, and people were starting to worry. When Officer Rebecca Bell entered Sarah's apartment, she immediately noticed the stench of death. Then the police found Sarah's corpse, partially decomposed and largely skeletal. The coroner did an autopsy but was unable to determine a cause of death. The body was too decomposed and too badly eaten. Sarah's daughter believed it may have been an accidental overdose of morphine, which Sarah was using to treat her back pain. But no matter how she passed away, Sarah wound up being food for animals that would have otherwise starved. 3. Attack of the piranhas. A man in China was attacked by piranhas in 2012. It's not very often that piranhas physically attack human beings, but when it does happen, it's nothing short of shocking. The man was washing his dog in the Liujiang River in the Guangxi Shuang Autonomous Region when the incident occurred. According to a Hong Kong cable news television, 31-year-old Zhang Kaibo was giving his dog a river bath when suddenly a piranha bit onto his hand. Its teeth were so sharp that it left him with deep lacerations, nearly taking his fingers off. He was able to shake the fish loose, though, and take it home in a bag. He was going to throw it back in the river before he realized it was a piranha, a fish native to South America. There are no piranhas in China, at least not naturally. Zhang was so concerned that he figured he'd hold on to the fish in case he needed it for evidence. He tried to keep it alive in his house, but it was a big task. A friend of his tried to handle the fish and was also bitten, receiving cuts on his hand. In the end, Zhang really just wanted to get the word out that everyone needed to be careful in the local river. Even though there are no piranhas native to China, they are popular exotic pets for aquariums. Chances are someone dumped their piranha in the river, where it then attacked Zhang. And if there's one piranha in the river, chances are there could be a lot more. 2. The crocodile and the lagoon. In August of 2022, video footage appeared of a crocodile carrying the body of a man through a Mexican lagoon. The video was taken in Tampico, Tamaulipas, at the Laguna del Carpintero. Onlookers were shocked to see a gigantic crocodile slowly moving through the water with what appeared to be the partially naked body of a person. This person, who appeared male, was missing his foot and the bottom part of his left arm. The crocodile was about 18 feet, 5.4 meters long, 3 times larger than its victim. The body of the man was later recovered by local officials, who had to pry it out of the reptile's jaws. The crocodile was also taken out of the water and either relocated or euthanized. There was no information about what the punishment would be for its killing spree. As for what happened to the man, the authorities never really found out. It was assumed that he entered the lagoon to go swimming and then was immediately attacked by the crocodile. This is a forbidden lagoon, a place where there's absolutely no swimming allowed. It's far too dangerous because it's infested with killer crocodiles. 1. The Christmas gecko. In November of 2019, 35-year-old David Dowell was dared to eat a gecko at a Christmas party. The father of 3 completed the dare and then was whisked to the hospital days later because he was in excruciating agony. His stomach swelled up and he thought he was going to die from the sheer pain. Doctors in Brisbane, Australia diagnosed him with a salmonella infection. He almost certainly was infected from swallowing the live gecko, something nobody should do under any circumstance. Even if you were starving, it would be better to hunt and eat spiders than put a gecko in your mouth. Tragically, David passed away on December 1st. 10 days after he swallowed the gecko, he died. And while it was believed to be from the salmonella infection, there may have been something else at play as well. There's a chance that he didn't die from salmonella, but from a tapeworm that was inside the gecko. Ecologist Diane Barton says it was likely an Asian house gecko that David consumed. These creatures are full of parasites and fairly easy to catch. It wouldn't be a far stretch to think that he contracted a dangerous tapeworm that exacerbated his problems. Either way, it was a foolish dare and an unsuspecting gecko that led to David's demise. Would you rather fight a swarm of hungry piranhas or one medium-sized crocodile? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Remember to hit subscribe if you haven't yet, and come back soon for more awesome videos from the channel.